During the many years I was teaching on college campuses, I was serious about maintaining anonymity of my students. After all, the Federal Privacy Act was passed in the U.S. in 1974. This act prohibits disclosing personal information about individuals without their permission. For example, I did not publicly post grades for assignments. Nearly every other professor on campus posted names and grades in violation of the Privacy Act. For every assignment and exam, I had students use an alias. Only the student knew his or her alias. I would grade the assignment or exam, and when I was finished, I would put the aliases in alphabetical order. To begin class the next day, I would go from student to student asking for their alias. When they told me, I would place their name beside the alias and return the assignment. As a result, only the student and I knew what grade was received by each individual. And yes, I knew all my students by name by the second day of class. This is because I cared about them and what they were learning from me. The students in one class were particularly humorous. This class of 24 students collaborated in using my name for their alias. Each of them was Guy McPherson. However, they all used a different middle initial. As a result, only one of the 24 students used my name correctly, the one who used R as the middle initial. You might be curious now, so my middle name is Randall. It is derived from an Old Norse name, and it means wolf shield. Speaking of anonymity, I'd like to address again why we do not allow comments on our YouTube channel. I'll do so by using a recent example I received via email. Bill writes a long email message replete with errors in spelling and grammar. I'll fix those as I read the message. Quote, "Hello, Guy. I hope you are doing well. I understand you get tired of negative comments and you deleted the ability to post comments on your videos. I get why people don't like your negative messages and kind of depressing way of bringing the message. I know your story and think you have humor and are an excellent educator and really find it horrible what you went through at your university and later on your wife divorcing you and then the betrayal at the homestead you built from scratch. You went through a lot. Please, I would love it to see and post comments so we can see how other people feel about your messages. It is so much more fun to see what people think and feel and be able to share my feelings. Thanks, Guy. I love you." End quote. Really, Bill? You love me? And yet you want to, quote, "see what people think and feel," end quote, when very frequently, quote, "people think and feel," end quote, that they have the right to call me terrible names. I did not respond to this particular Bill. Life is too short to explain what he already knows, based on his message to me. I am responding to Bill here, thus assuming he follows me closely enough to see this video. To do so, I return to the aliases used by my students. I use these aliases to comply with federal law and also to implement fairness. Nobody likes to have their poor grades on public display, and there is no need. I need not know every aspect of your life. You need not know every aspect of my life. Speaking of federal laws, the organized defamation campaign that destroyed my life violated federal law. I am certain some defamatory actions would have ended up in court by now if the attorney working pro bono on my behalf had not slipped on a dock and died on December 4th, 2020. For example, the millions of dollars accumulated by David Wallace Wells would have received serious scrutiny by now. He earned this money, more or less, by plagiarizing and defaming me in a best-selling book and a fictionalized version of my work in a television series. Had I been able to pursue legal action in the courts, I suspect my dad would not have died believing I'm a sexual predator. I suspect my mom and siblings would not still believe this nonsense. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, whatever. It is what it is, for better and worse. As Seneca pointed out a couple of thousand years ago, quote, "I judge you unfortunate because you have never lived through misfortune," end quote. At least I don't have that problem.